We begin this fucking episode under the sea on some bikini bottom shit, where Iron Man and Captain America are heading deep inside what was once the Squadron Supreme's citadel. Falcon apologizes for flooding the citadel, claiming that they had ended up flooding it while they were collecting data. Iron Man brushes his concerns off, claiming that he has done his job. It is now up to him and Cap to finish this shit. Captain America tells them that the Citadel might still contain the secrets to Nighthawk's plans, and they need them to turn the tables on the Squadron. However, Falcon, who still has his doubts, tells the two of them that Nighthawk might have already predicted that they would try to collect data from the Citadel. Iron Man brushes off his concerns, claiming that he expects Nighthawk to anticipate their move. He then asks Falcon to help him generate the Citadel's arc reactor to light the place up. Before Falcon can do anything, the Citadel lights up on its own. When Captain America realizes that it is a trap, they are too late and the screen cuts off. Alarmed, Falcon calls all of the Avengers together. They take the Avenjet and head to the sunken Citadel. All of a sudden, they are attacked by the Squadron Supreme. Nighthawk mocks the Avengers, claiming that they are going to see how well the Avengers hold up without their leaders before dropping Iron Man's mask in front of them. Blue Eagle tells the Avengers to give up control of their planet since they have been unable to stop crime. Hawkeye tells them that Earth is not theirs to give away. Meanwhile, Black Widow tells Falcon that something is off since Nighthawk is never this direct, and something might be going on behind the scenes. At the same time, Thor tells the Squadron Supreme that they will never submit to them before attacking him. Nighthawk, who had been expecting this, activates his bracelet, causing all of the Avengers to disappear. Hawkeye, Thor, and Ant-Man find themselves in an old, abandoned factory. Hawkeye mocks Nighthawk by claiming that the only thing the Squadron Supreme will be able to do is bore them to death. However, Thor reminds him that they have managed to take Captain America and Iron Man down, so they should not underestimate them. All of a sudden, Speed Demon runs past Ant-Man, knocking him down. Just then, Dr. Spectrum appears in front of them and uses his power to power up the factory. On the other end, Hyperion looks around for Hulk, mocking him for hiding. Hulk tells him that he is not hiding and jumps on top of him before burying him in the snow. Besides him, Black Widow blocks Zarda from reaching Hulk using Captain America's shield. At the same time, Falcon finds himself falling midair but manages to regain control. He then asks the Avengers to report their locations. He tells them that he is near the Statue of Liberty. Hawkeye reports back, claiming that it is unfair that they have to fight inside a factory. Falcon tells him that he has a bad feeling just as he gets attacked by Nighthawk. Black Widow tells him that Nighthawk is not present in either of the locations. At the factory, while Hawkeye and Thor fight off Speed Demon, Ant-Man is caught by Dr. Spectrum, who hits him with his prism power. This causes a giant ant to appear behind him. Ant-Man recognizes him as Hubble, the pet ant that he stepped on when he was younger. As the ant starts chasing him, Thor and Hawkeye try to take down Speed Demon, who has managed to steal Hawkeye's weapon. Despite their best efforts, they are unable to catch up with Speed Demon. Falcon contacts them and tells Thor to create wind using Mjolnir because Speed Demon cannot outrun the wind. As Thor's wind stops Speed Demon in his steps, Hawkeye picks up a broken pipe before throwing it at a machine over Speed Demon. Once Speed Demon is knocked down, Ant-Man asks Falcon for help, who tells him that he needs to find the factory's power generator and trigger a feedback overload that will counteract Spectrum's powers. Once Ant-Man manages to find the power generator, he lures Hubble towards it. As soon as the ant collides with the generator, it causes Dr. Spectrum to get knocked back. Ant-Man tells Falcon that he might be as good as Tony and Captain America. Black Widow agrees with Ant-Man and tells Falcon that Nighthawk knows Falcon is just as good as the two Avengers, which is why he is fighting Falcon personally. She then tells him to pull himself together and start leading the team since he has studied the Squadron Supreme the most. All of a sudden, Zarda knocks Black Widow back. When Falcon hears her getting overpowered, he tells her that Zarda is highly susceptible to electric shock. However, he worries that Black Widow is not near an electric outlet. Widow assures him that she is closer than he thinks. She takes off her bracelets and creates an electric shock before throwing it at Zarda. Once she successfully manages to take her down, Falcon tells Hulk to hit Hyperion harder, since that is the only way to take him down. Back in New York City, Falcon continues to fight with Nighthawk, who tells him that his combat skills have improved, but he will never be good enough. This is when Falcon realizes that this has been a diversion, and that the Squadron Supreme's target has always been the Avengers Tower. He contacts Jarvis and asks him what is going on. Jarvis informs him that Nighthawk is trying to take the Avengers Tower and New York City into another dimension. He tells the remaining Avengers that they need to think of something fast, or Nighthawk will succeed in his plan to teleport New York to another dimension. Falcon tries to speed towards Avengers Tower, but Nighthawk catches up to him and plants a device on his back, causing his wings to disappear. As Falcon plummets to the ground, he barely manages to catch himself by shooting a rope out of his armor and holding onto Nighthawk's jet. Meanwhile, Prism emerges once again and attacks Ant-Man and Thor. On the other end, Speed Demon starts moving his legs and creates friction to free himself. He knocks Hawkeye back and joins Prism. In the mountains, Hulk gets attacked by Hyperion, and while he is busy, Zarda attacks Black Widow. Back in the city, Falcon attaches the rope to a building, causing Nighthawk's jet to plummet towards the ground. This gives Falcon a chance to snatch his bracelet and reverse Nighthawk's teleporter beam. With all of the Avengers back in the same city, they prepare to disrupt Nighthawk's plan, but find that Falcon the Squadron Supreme has been teleported back along with them. As the Avengers start fighting the Squadron Supreme, Ant-Man removes the device from Falcon's back. At this point, they notice that the Avengers Tower is covered by high levels of energy like they have never seen before. Falcon tells the Avengers to ignore the Squadron Supreme and head for the Avengers Tower. Despite his order, he notices that the Avengers are struggling to fight off the Squadron Supreme since they know all of their moves. He tells the Avengers to change up their moves, and much to everyone's surprise, they manage to surprise the Squadron and take them down. They then head towards the Avengers Tower, only to find that it is surrounded by an electrical shield that acts like a human repellent. Falcon asks Jarvis to help them find a way inside, but Jarvis tells them that it has lost control of the tower. He informs the remaining Avengers that in a few minutes, the Avengers Tower along with part of the city will be teleported into a limbo. Thor tells them that if the barrier acts like lightning, he can control it. However, he only manages to create a small enough opening for someone to shrink and get inside. At first, Ant-Man tells the Avengers that he can get inside, but when Falcon insists that no one knows the tower like he does, Ant-Man shrinks him, allowing him to make his way inside the tower. As soon as he lands inside, Falcon tells Jarvis that he is manually firing up every external antenna on the tower, and as soon as he fires them up, Jarvis will have to release the energy towards the space where it will not hurt anyone. Black Widow voices her concerns again, and tells Falcon that he might be playing into Nighthawk's plans, but he tells her that he has no choice if he wants to save the city. He then fires up the external antenna, causing all of the energy to be directed towards the sky. However, Jarvis reports that an unknown force is drawing the energy beam towards the sea. Falcon realizes that the tower is acting like an energy amplifier for the energy signature. He then notices Nighthawk getting into his jet and heading towards the sea where their citadel is rising. The Avengers come to realize that Nighthawk's plan was to raise their citadel once again, and that they have played right into Nighthawk's plan. Falcon begins to doubt his leadership, claiming that he is not Tony Stark, but Black Widow tells him that don't need Tony and only needs him to lead them. He tells the Avengers that they need to think one step ahead of the Squadron. He then turns to Jarvis and asks him if the Citadel is causing radio transmission interruptions. To their surprise, Jarvis tells him that it has detected a pattern that indicates SOS in Morse code. At this point, the Avengers realize that Iron Man and Captain America are still alive. Falcon comes up with a new plan just as the Squadron Supreme attacks them again. He tells Thor to distract the Squadron while he and the rest of the Avengers head for the Citadel. As they enter the Citadel, they find Captain America and Iron Man trapped inside. Once Hulk frees them, Falcon tells them that Nighthawk was feeding them incorrect information and that the Citadel is sucking energy from Earth's core because it is powering someone else. Before anyone can question Falcon, a man who calls himself Nuke appears in front of the Avengers. He claims that he knew Nighthawk would be able to revive him. Meanwhile, Thor continues to take on the Squadron alone. Despite being outnumbered, Thor manages to keep them occupied while the rest of the Avengers try to figure out their next move. Just as Falcon orders Thor to throw his hammer, Nuke blows himself up using his powers, causing the Citadel to blow up while the Avengers are inside. When Thor realizes that his friends might have died, he begins to lose morale and gets overpowered by the Squadron. With him down, the Squadron reunites once again and takes over the city's screens. They announce that the Squadron Supreme has destroyed the Avengers and that they are their new masters. The video then moves toward a shackled Thor who the Squadron uses as a symbol of the Avengers' failure. On the other side of the city, Thor's hammer lands on the ground, with all of the Avengers clinging onto it. It turns out that Falcon had predicted that the Citadel was a trap, which is why he had told Ant-Man to shrink all of them before Nuke blew himself up. At the end of the episode, Captain America tells an overly enthusiastic Ant-Man that they cannot reveal that they are alive just yet, because it will give them the upper hand with the Squadron. Just when everyone thinks everything has gone to shit, the Avengers make their comeback with renewed energy and hope. Thank you for watching. Check out these other videos and make sure to subscribe and tap the bell to be notified about our latest videos. See you next time.